March 15, 1944. Japanese Naval Intelligence Headquarters, Ada Communications Unit, Japan. Commander Atsuzo Kurihara fixed his gaze on the intercepted message, his third mug of harsh tea forgotten as it cooled on his desk. Over the last 18 hours, he and his team comprised of Japan's top cryptographers had worked to decipher transmissions that seemed to be tactical communications from the United States Marine Corps during the Marshall Islands campaign. The sounds received by their equipment resisted all the analytical strategies available to them. Bassetti da Descartes. These noises were not without pattern. The signals appeared to have a deliberate military structure, their timing aligned with American assaults, their durations matching operational directives, and the frequency patterns corresponding to Marine Corps procedures. Still, the actual language was unyielding, unrecognizable compared to anything in their vast collection of Allied communication references. Kurihara led one of the most advanced signals intelligence groups in existence. Situated 20 miles outside of Tokyo, the Ada installation had a workforce of 500 handling 118 radio receivers along with 20 direction-finding devices. His cryptographers had managed to crack American diplomatic codes, British naval transmissions and several Army ciphers. They had infiltrated the State Department's Purple Code before the attack on Pearl Harbor, delivering crucial intelligence to Japan in the initial years of the conflict. However, these Marine messages amounted to a total cryptanalytic defeat. 3 years into the conflict, after having deciphered many Allied systems, even Japan's top experts failed to make sense of the fundamental elements of these strange messages. Kurihara was unaware, as were all Japanese intelligence agents until well after the conflict had ended, that he was intercepting the sole military code in contemporary history that remained unbroken. This account originates not in the Pacific Theater, but instead in the American Southwest, where the Navajo people had maintained a language distinct from any other in existence for hundreds of years. The Navajo tongue, referred to as Dina Bizard, is classified as part of the Athabascan linguistic group, numbering close to 170,000 speakers by 1940. Almost all of whom resided on a reservation of 27,000 square miles crossing Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, and Colorado. The linguistic features that would later baffle Japanese codebreakers had developed through thousands of years. Navajo places verbs at the core with actions conveyed through elaborate prefixes, the potential combinations of which reach into the millions. The language makes use of 4 separate tones: high, low, rising, and falling that can significantly shift the meanings of words. An incorrect pronunciation does not merely result in a different term, but can make an entire phrase unintelligible. Its phonology features elements not found in Japanese, English, or most other tongues globally. These include ejective stops where air forcefully exits the glottis, a voiceless lateral fricative similar to air hissing between teeth, glottalized sonorants, as well as nasalized vowels. For those whose native language, such as Japanese, utilizes only 5 vowel sounds, distinguishing these many phonemes proved nearly insurmountable. Philip Johnston recognized the military advantage in this linguistic fortress. He was born in 1892, the son of a Protestant missionary on the Navajo reservation, and was raised to speak Navajo fluently, placing him among fewer than 30 non-Navajos globally who could do so. By the time he was 9, he interpreted his father's sermons. At 15, he journeyed to Washington to serve as a translator for Navajo leaders, where he met President Theodore Roosevelt. In December 1941, as the United States faced the aftermath of Pearl Harbor, Johnston learned that military units were utilizing Comanche speakers in training operations in Louisiana. While the Choctaw had been used in World War I, those actions were makeshift and restricted. Johnston imagined a formal military code utilizing Navajo, both indecipherable and feasible for contemporary combat. On February 28, 1942, Johnston brought his idea to Major General Clayton Vogel at Camp Elliott near San Diego. The showcase proved outstanding. 4 Navajos from Los Angeles sent messages while Marine officers measured their efficiency against standard methods. The Navajo speakers delivered their messages in 20 seconds, whereas the M209 cipher machine took 30 minutes. General Vogel approved the creation of a pilot program. On May 4, 1942, 29 Navajo enlistees, including Chester Nez, Carl Gorman, Lloyd Oliver, and John Beanerly, took their oaths at Fort Wingate, New Mexico. These individuals originated from different parts of the reservation. Some had gone to boarding schools where speaking Navajo was forbidden and met with discipline. Others came from traditional sheep-raising families who had seldom left their homelands. For 8 weeks at Camp Elliott, they labored in a locked, guarded facility, developing a military code from their native tongue. The challenge was immense. Invent terminology for ideas that did not exist in the Navajo language, devise an alphabet, guarantee the code could be remembered and expanded. They fashioned the code using logic from their cultural background. A submarine received the name Bestow, described as an iron fish traveling under the waves. Battleships were labeled Lot Whale, referring to the ocean's biggest animal. Fighter aircraft were called Da Hummingbirds, flitting quickly through the sky. Bombers took the name Jaisho, likened to buzzards that circle before diving down. Creating the alphabet demanded particular ingenuity. Each character had to have numerous Navajo terms to avoid detection by frequency counts. Since E is the commonest letter in English, 4 choices were designed for it. For instance, Z, signifying elk, Anna, meaning I tear, hair, Ah, for ear. Code talkers would rotate these options at random, eliminating any recognizable structure. They created 211 original expressions, committing all details to memory flawlessly. Using code books was forbidden, as it could mean the enemy might capture them. Chester Nez recounted, "We practiced relentlessly. Errors could be fatal. In our tradition, language holds significance. Correct speech was regarded as sacred." The code underwent its first trial at Guadalcanal in August 1942. 15 code talkers arrived with the initial Marine Division. The Japanese had anticipated the attack because they had broken other Allied codes. Yet suddenly, Marine field transmissions became unintelligible.